Welcome. Hi. How are you? I It's been a week, huh? I have had some reminders today. All week long I've been getting downloads, information, reminders. These are things, what I want to share today are things that actually I learned early on in my journey, yet when we go through the journey and we go through the twists and the turns and the fears, and we're stripping away a lot of old versions of ourselves. I mean, we go through a lot. We forget some things temporarily. So this coincides basically with the last live reading that I did. So I think that the messages that are coming through are each day very consistently setting me up for what we're actually experiencing astrologically as well. So today, Venus has now moved into Aquarius. Hello, hi Lisa. Venus has now moved into Aquarius and is conjuncting Pluto in Aquarius. And Venus and Mars will meet up and conjunct an exact conjunction soon enough too. So we've got a lot of big energies that we're working through. And I'm actually not going to go through all of the astrology today. I want to share with you some reminders that I received and I've been experiencing. So this week for me has been a powerful week of manifestation and of things coming to fruition and new people, new experiences opening up for me. And I recognized right away what the difference was, what was causing me, because I always question everything and I'm not one to enjoy the void or the slowdown period, although that is definitely part of the cycles of life. But I wanted to talk, and I drew some diagrams, but I think it's easier if I just really describe it in words. So if we think of, well, everything in life is energy. Everything from our thoughts to our bodies, to the earth, to fire, air, water. It's all energy. And in the field of energy of consciousness, we have to realize that that is where we dabble in creation or co-creation with the universe. And it's not personal. So we tend to think, if what I'm desiring, what I want isn't coming to me, I must be doing something wrong. Or if something is actually happening that I wanted to happen, I must have done something right. And that's actually not at all how energy works. It is very impersonal, actually. But it is important that we recognize that the reason we have free will is given to us as a chance to circulate energy and discover co-creation, discover the possibilities, the potentials that we could experience. Earth is meant to be a playground. Now, we've certainly created it to be much more than that as humans, and we can get into that, but I really wanted to just talk about why we feel certain ways at certain times, and what we can do to move the energy around. So essentially, the way that we are designed, the way that life is designed, if you witness life's cycles, nature's cycles, or the cycle of a plant, there is a specific amount of time where the energy is being circulated and generated. And then there is a period of time of um, integration and death and dormancy and then a rebirth. If you look at the torus or the toroidal field of the human aura, or even in physics, you can see that it is always generating in and out and around. So for all intents and purposes, I did draw, I know you're not going to be able to see it. The way I saw it in my mind's eye was an infinity symbol, where we are meant to circulate energy, come back around and integrate that energy, meaning we have experiences, we try something new, do something different, and then the integration period is a time meant for us to slow down, process, and absorb the new before generating again more circulation of energy. So when we are in the circulation of energy, we feel an increased amount of energy internally. We start to see manifestations. We start to experience new things, new possibilities, new people. And just think about like when you go on a trip somewhere, you have all these, you break out of your mold and you go on a vacation for a week, and you have all of these different experiences than what you're normally used to having. But when you go back home, you're tired. A lot of people say, I need a vacation from my vacation. You're tired because you just shook yourself out of a very robotic routine into having, into circulating your energy. And now it's time to integrate. It's time to allow the energy to integrate within your system. And then you'll feel another wave of energy to continue to circulate. But what happens with us humans, because of the way that we are conditioned and the way that we are programmed and the way that the powers that were want us to be, is in stagnation, is in a circle where we are repetitively doing the same things, whether it be your exercise routine, the things that you eat, going to work, coming home, it's the same thing day in and day out. That generates stagnation. Even think about it, even something that you really love. I started up this new yoga practice, and I do it every day. And after about a year, you're like, I gotta go to yoga again. You're not into it, right? Because it's stagnant. The energy is stagnant. And you become disappointed, frustrated, not as excited with it as you once were. It also is opens us up to really forming addictive patterns when we're in that stagnation cycle. So to understand how it feels in the body, whether we're circulating energy, which just means it can be the simplest little change that you do. If you pay attention to your every single day to day, if you get up and you do the same thing, if you get up and you have tea every morning, maybe one morning have a coffee or maybe a juice, switch things up, change things up. Because even when we eat the same repetitive foods, our body starts to feel the stagnation of the energy, and it can start to develop allergies and other inflammations because we are stagnating that energy internally. It's very interesting, but I have to say that unconsciously I broke out of a few of my regular routines, because I'm also a fixed sign, so things, it's just like robotic. You don't think about it. You're day in, day out. I mean, mine's not completely the same, but there are certain things that once brought me joy. Suddenly, I'm not so excited about, and they don't bring me that much joy. They're not that much pleasure. And what life will do, what the universe will do, is it will every so often bring in things to jam up our routine, to try to break us out of that. Now, usually we get very agitated and angry, because at that point, when you're in stagnation for a long time, you are agitated. You don't even understand why. Hi, Martin. Yes, very repetitive. You don't even understand why. You're just sort of like on edge because you're not getting the fulfillment, the enjoyment out of what you once did, because it is repetitive. Yeah. So to help break from that cycle and break back and bust into our natural cycle of circulation and integration. Circulation, integration. So circulate new energy, even if it's just changing up your something that you eat or what you drink, or it can be anything. It doesn't have, and watch new things pop into your world when you start to make those changes consciously. It's pretty miraculous. It's pretty wild. Something else just popped into my mind and I lost it. I can't stand it when that happens. We are having a lot of solar weather, so bear with me here. It was on stagnation. You can feel like you're in a rut. Even when we're in our creative flow, if you're doing the same thing over and over again, the same way, eventually you start to have a block, and it's like, what's going on? What's happening? So you want to stop doing what you're doing and do something different that day. Go outside, go for a walk. Just break up the repetitiveness in whatever it is that you are finding frustration, finding that you're not as happy with as you once were, or even finding yourself becoming addicted to, I can't stop. Even though I want to, I'm not getting enjoyment out of this anymore, but I can't seem to stop. That's also a repetitive pattern. And it was on the lines of addiction that I wanted to bring up. And oh, darn it, I should have wrote this stuff down. How are you guys doing? Ooh, I just got a hot flash too. And then it's important to take the time to rest and rejuvenate that energy, to have that integration period. We're designed this way. Life is designed this way, but we are programmed the exact opposite of how we are designed. And there's a lot of fear tied in there. So going back to my last live talking about fate versus destiny and our choices. If we stay with the same choices and decisions that are also repetitive, they are also based out of fear. They are also based out of our past experiences, our history, other people, what happened to them, or their opinions in any way, shape, or form. That also causes us to stay in that stagnancy. And I find that that's happening to a lot of people, that they're recognizing this. And maybe that is this Venus conjunct Pluto, because Venus is very much about our values, our core values, the things that are important to us. And I think that Venus touching on Pluto right now is having, when Venus was in Capricorn, which she literally just moved into Aquarius, but when Venus was in Capricorn, I feel like that was really dissecting a lot of our core values and our relationships and all of the Venus themes, our sense of style and beauty. It was dissecting that to such a degree that we were starting to recognize, and maybe some people are still in that, recognize what's missing. What have I given up that I actually miss? Or what is missing in this dynamic? Or what am I doing that has been so repetitive and continuous that it's lost its luster? Now that Venus is in Aquarius, I feel like we're going to start to have a new rebirth there with this aspect of life, which is important for all of us. Our relationships and what's important to us truly. at a soul level, our core values, as well as our sense of style and what aesthetic, beauty, money as well. And you can think of money in this, money is energy as well. So I just wanted to see what you guys, what you think about all of that and your experiences. Oh, here we go. Martin says, reflect and process over the day. Then before you go to sleep, visualize your desire, wish, reprogram, and wake up in a totally different mindset. Otherwise, you're just going to replay yesterday. Yeah, like Groundhog's Day, right? And that's the thing. The energy, the energy is consciousness. It is not personal. Hello, Granny Paula. It's not personal. It's not, just like I was saying, it's not, if I'm not getting what I want, I must be doing something wrong. Or if I'm getting what I want, I must be doing something right. That's not at all how it is. It really truly is left up to us. We have destined path. It's up to our choices and to consciously make new choices for ourselves. And they can be small, but when we're offered an opportunity to make a choice, to really contemplate, is this decision coming from my heart and my desire, or is this choice coming from a fear as something from the past, or what other people are telling me that's not going to work, it never worked, whatever, how are we circulating our energy? Is it staying too repetitive? Because I'll tell you what, it just came back to me, okay. A lot of people, at least around here, are getting sick. But the people that I know that have been getting sick, I've also noticed or recognized that they have been in a repetitive pattern, and most of it has to do with work, a repetitive pattern, and that their energy has become, it's stagnated, which stagnated energy is not like feeling depleted. Stagnated energy is, it's not changing. It's not changing, and it's very frustrating, and we do more and more and more to get a better feeling out of it, and we don't, because it's not, because you haven't taken your choices, your free will, to make even a minor adjustment in the pattern. Pay attention to the patterns. Like I said, pay attention to the patterns of the food and beverages that you drink. Pay attention to the patterns of your thoughts. If you go walking every single day, maybe try bike riding. You know what I mean? Like, switch it up, switch the energy up. It's that simple. You will notice little changes at first, but the more and more you break out of these repetitive patterns, the more you're going to notice new life starting to grow and form, and new opportunities, possibly new people coming into your life. Hi, Patsy. So it's very simple, really. If we stay in that infinity symbol of circulate energy and then integrate, a little downtime to rest and rejuvenate, circulate new energy, rest and rejuvenate, circulate new energy, rest and rejuvenate. Because as soon as we stay too repetitive, we are in the wheel. We are in stagnant energy, and that energy becomes more and more stagnant. And actually, we can have the energy become stagnant in our body, which can cause inflammation. It can also, it'll cause things to flare up. Patsy says, I miss cycling, swimming, and trampolining. Oh, yeah, trampolining is best. I don't have a trampoline, but we used to when I was growing up. No, welcome. So We want to get out of the mindset of, our maybe what's been so mainstream about manifesting. This is what I want, and I'm going to do whatever I need to, whatever it takes for me to actually get what I want. Universe, give me what I want. It's that, child, but you think that it's like your parents, and if you're not doing the right thing, you're not going to get what you want, and that's just not at all how it works. Let's see here. The last thing we think about before we die is the first thing we'll desire when we rise. Interesting. Death, rebirth, incarnation. Same with sleep-wake cycles. That's an interesting concept. I like that. So, well, a lot of times we don't know exactly how we're going to die or when we're going to die. So keep your thoughts good, I suppose. No, but it just, there were just small little things that I started changing up in my routine. And I guess, again, being a fixed sign, or just, I see it as my pattern growing up in an unstable, where I never knew where we moved every 2 years. I never knew where we were going to live. I never knew what school I was going to go to. Everything was always new. And so for me, when I finally became an adult, I'm like, I want to be in charge and know what I'm getting into. I was like, I just wanted, what all my friends had, you know what I mean? And so I fell into that role unknowingly, that that became comfortable until it became uncomfortable. Because again, you can only stay in the same scene for so long before it becomes stagnant, is no longer enjoyable. So it is really important that we make little changes, sometimes big changes, but they don't have to be big, huge changes to open up the field, this field of consciousness, that we truly do have unlimited possibilities, except when it's brought down into the density and our minds, we do have more potentials than unlimited possibilities. It turns into more, these are most likely going to be what you choose when you're given the option, but you never know. I mean, I've had some wild, crazy, hey, you want to go to Mexico tomorrow? And sure, okay, kind of thing. What's going on here? Oh, hi, Darren. Oh, don't ever apologize. You are fine. Oh, that's so, thank you for sharing. Vision boards help. Yes, they do help a lot for many people to kind of keep yourself out of that one-track mind, or again, this world that we live in, it can be very repetitive because of survival, because we think that we have to stay in this mainstream loop to survive, and that's what we are all breaking free from. But then when we break free from that, a lot of people find themselves like, okay, now what do I do? And I try to really coach people on trying to find what pleases them, find a flow for themselves, baby steps, but to not get stuck in the same repetitive circle. Again, I drew it as a circle: stagnation, frustration, sudden unhappiness with something that once gave you fulfillment, and then eventually turns into, it can turn into like complete and utter anger. I feel like that's why a lot of people are angry. I mean, one of the reasons, there's many other reasons, but because they're in stagnant energy and they don't see that they have a million possibilities that they could tap into, Take each day as it comes. Yes, but we can actually break out of a loop. And that's how I was when we're going through healing, it is important to go slow when you're not sure if you're really ready for a whole lot of new. But I know from experience that when I really break all of my patterns, suddenly the universe is like, okay, bam, and all these new people and all these new opportunities and all these new things sort of just kind of come in all at once. It's just it's kind of what I've been experiencing this week to a degree, and it's been amazing. But I was sitting with that, like, why is that? And they were just small little things that I really shifted and adjusted. And also my, I think I was holding on to still some fear or worry about money, like the steady income that's still embedded in my head, like gotta have the steady income or something's gonna go wrong. And I really finally broke free from that mindset. And when I did, don't you know that the money started to flow in? So there you go with money, it's energy as well, and we can hold it back. We can definitely hold it back. Stuck in freeze mode, says Paula. I felt so numb this last few days. Good energy returning. Lies, honesty is all I want. If people can't be honest, I have no interest in knowing them. No harm in a lottery slip. No harm. Exactly. You never know. And again, those numbers are generated after you buy the ticket. So you co-create with the universe that way, you know? Yes, I've been hearing a lot about the numbness from people. And I do feel that that is a big part of this. We're really going through a big transformative cycle with Pluto and the personal planets. First Mercury, then Mars, now Venus. And we've got Chiron and the North Node in conjunction. This is a whole recipe for shit or get off the pot. I hate to say it, but it really is like, it's really pushing people into out of stagnancy. And when there's, and Uranus is the ruling planet of Aquarius too, and that's very electrical. So and it's also unexpected. So I think a lot of people are getting some shocking experiences, especially with other people. My gosh, I could go on and on and on. Let's see. How we close out our day before we shut our eyes, those last thoughts we reflect on, and how we program our mind subconscious before we completely flake out. Paula says, yes, the same, or Patsy, yeah. Right, Darren. Lucky numbers. Granny Paula, this will pass. Yes, it will pass. Yes, we're about to be winners here anyway. There was one other thing that kept popping in my mind when it came to the stagnancy circle, but I didn't write it down, so maybe it'll come through. Uranus is the liberator, the fixer. Yes. I wish my pets a good sleep, and then I wish myself the same. Yeah, I always have good thoughts before I go to sleep. Usually, that was always been my rule since I was a kid. I used to get mad when I was married. I had my husband every so often would like pick an argument or just something that like would upset me that I would want to talk about before going to bed, and he would just fall asleep. I'm like, you can't just leave me hanging. I can't go to bed mad. And that was like our biggest argument because I always knew, don't go to bed angry, work out your stuff, get it all out before you go to sleep so that you're peaceful. I internally just instinctively always knew that since I was a kid. Sleep. Now, some people are saying that they're having a really difficult time sleeping lately. And I don't know if that is due to the solar activity, which is so it's might as well just say, like, the sun is raining down on us a lot, and I see that as good, but I know that that can really do a number on the physical body in many different ways. I've been getting a lot of very interesting dreams. I have a few sessions coming up with other people interpreting their dreams. Now I'm getting contacted by people to help them interpret their dreams because they're so vivid that they like can't shake them, kind of thing. So that's been interesting. What else do we have here? So Venus in Aqua, conjuncting Pluto as of today. Working through old relationship patterns that are outdated, no longer working, keeping you stuck in unhealthy patterns, not free to be your authentic self. New feelings are beginning to emerge because we're also reminiscing back on what's been missing. And it doesn't have to be relationship. You could, I've had things come up to me ever since. It's like I've had music come up to me from the past, and then it's like certain clothes, certain styles that I used to have, and I'm like, I miss that. I might bring that style back into style, kind of thing. So I've been having a lot of those things, and that's another thing you can shake up. If you wear the same old thing day in and day out, I mean, I'm just giving examples. Go through your closet, go through your stuff, put on something different, put on something new, freshen up your day, freshen up your energy, circulate it. Music, yes, music from the past. That has been big in the last 2 weeks. Madonna has been going into my radar. Well, she's on tour right now too, so it's so interesting. And of course, that Prince video that I've been sharing with everybody because, my God, that song's in my head every single day. But it is important to look up the lyrics because there's always a message there for you too, you know? So let's keep talking because more stuff will come up. Darren says, had a lovely sleep last night, great dream. I was flying around in a small jet with about 4 seats in it, flying under bridges and through cities. Great fun. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. I don't remember I had an experience. Was it last night? I don't remember now. That's the other thing, but this time lapse is so interesting with the time lapses. And that card's been coming out too. Like losing track of time. The days speed by. Suddenly it's, the sun's up and suddenly it's down again. It just seems that way. But I got woken up, and it was 2 nights ago. No, it was last night. It was last night when we had another X flare. And in my hearing, it seemed as that I felt like when I woke up that I had fallen asleep with my heater fan on me. Like sometimes I fall asleep before I turn out the lights and everything. I thought it was like that, but I woke up and it sounded like something was turned off, but nothing was on. Nothing. It was dark and nothing was on, and I was in another, like physically hearing and feeling another time, like there was a time jump, if that makes sense. Let's see what you guys are saying. I prefer music with lyrics sung in a language I don't understand. That's interesting, Martin. Yep, I keep checking myself for what day is it. Always one day out of sync. Yeah, I have to do that too, especially as I'm getting busier and I'm scheduling people. And then we keep getting snowstorms here, which throws off the schedules because we just got dumped with another 8 or so inches the other day, and it was I just didn't go anywhere because it's hard to drive on the roads. Everything's shut down and stuff. So yeah, that throws me off also. What day is it? What time is it? What is going on? It's been interesting times. Like reading a Russian book. I've heard people talking about glitches in the matrix, especially when it comes to, well, you know, kind of like when you have deja vu. um, it's not quite like that. It's like, say you're at the store. I had this happen to me the other day too. You're at the store. There was this tea I wanted to get. I'm on this tea kick. And I looked up, I saw where it was, and I think my phone rang or something, so I went to turn it off, and when I looked up again, it wasn't there. That tea was there, and then it wasn't. And so I'm like, where the hell is this tea? Looking all over, and I'm like, oh, are they out of it? I swore I just saw it. And then I looked again, and it's like on a whole different shelf. I'm not even standing in front of. It's that kind of glitches. Those kinds of experiences, and I know I'm not the only one having them, but it definitely happened to me where you're in one space for one moment, and then suddenly click, click, and the scene is different. I don't know if that's just the mystic's path, which I am learning that the path of the mystic is definitely not like the civilian, like most people's path. It's definitely you gotta have a good sense of humor, that's for sure. I have so much tea too from your last job. Yeah, I've been trying different herbal teas and things, and just trying new things, you know, to see what works for me, what doesn't. Pronunciation of foreign names from far off lands. Think it might be over soon. What do you think might be over soon, Darren? I might have missed your thing, what you're talking about. The glitchy matrix. Your supply would shock me. You should start having tea ceremonies. There are people that do that, and not like ayahuasca, but just with your tea. And like, it is an entity. An entity. It is an entity. Just like plants, you know. Bless the tea. That's right. And then when you're done, you can read the tea leaves. I've never tried that. You know, my son is way into tea. Well, he had a phase when he was in high school. He got really into tea and got one of those Japanese, like, cast iron teapot things. And then when he was in college, he got even more into it. And at that point, I think at the malls and stuff here, there was that Tea-Bania. There were these tea stores that were really popular then. And, you know, you wouldn't see, he big football player guy, just loving his hot tea. You guys are funny. Well, you know, we probably do speak multiple languages. Does anybody here or know or have the ability to speak or translate light languages? Have you experienced that before? I'm curious, because that is beautiful and fascinating, and there's something about it that it does kind of pull me into, like, not just otherworldly, but it pulls me into these mystical places. Only Scottish here. Granny Paula says not speaking. Telepathy's been big. Have you guys been experiencing that? Are you aware if you are or not? Wouldn't that be cool to have that skill? I did know somebody, a couple people, but I'm not around them anymore. Oh, this is interesting. So time lapse did come out as I was talking about the glitches in the Matrix and the time warp of, like, from what I'm picking up, from what I'm noticing, the days especially, just time has sped up, or my perception of time has sped up so much that it's really hard to keep track of time, and I have to put alarms, on my phone for when I have to, like, be somewhere if I have schedules, because otherwise I totally lose track of time. Only with my pets. Telepathy. All the time, very sensitive to it. If something's off, I can pretty much spot it immediately. That's how I struggle with the lies. Yeah, that's a tough one. When somebody's lying to you and you know it, that's a hard one. I'd rather try Welch. My pets get, yeah, I have the telepathy with Luna, my cat, for sure. And she really gets me also. It's always nice to have a pet snuggle in with you or communicate. She did bite me today, and I'm like, where is this coming from? But she'll do this bite and then bite and love. And I feel like it's these times when we get these zaps of energy. She'll either start getting the zoomies and running around like crazy, or she'll just come out of nowhere. And I used to think she was keeping me in check when I was, like, spaced out or not in my body or unconscious. But at the moment she bit me was a little bit before I came on here. I was very conscious. I was making my tea, and she just came up and was like, eh. Not anything that hurts, but a little boop, and then runs off to, like, hee hee hee. It's the strangest thing. So we have time lapse, ancestral patterns, and light, truth. Let's get to the bottom of some things here. Out of body experience. All right, Spirit wants to talk to us about this stuff because there's some interesting things that are going on the planet and with us for sure. All right, let me see what you guys are saying, then I'm going to get into the cards because I'm getting some messages here. My Lucy bites me sometimes, like when she'd rip my hands like as a kitten. Yeah. Naughty kitten. So they're just like little nibbles. If we could all be honest with each other and not play games anymore, I think everyone would get on so much better. There really is no need for it. For somebody who's not being honest with you, they're actually not being honest with themselves. And it is a hard thing to do, but it's important at that point to see them for who they are, where they are at this time. Probably having a really hard time or not wanting to feel their true feelings or their truth or face their truth. So when somebody cannot face their own truth, habitual lying, lies will come out. And it's important to not take it as personally. I've gone through that many times myself, and it hurts, especially, if it's coming from somebody that you really love. But it's really important to see that they're struggling internally with their own truth and their own feelings. And there are many people right now, we're all being forced to face ourselves, face our authenticity, our truth. And you look around in the planet, you see a lot of people who are still not living their truth. They're still got a mask on. The universe right now is trying to force that mask off, pushing people out into public naked, and that's terrifying. So they do whatever they can to mask it up, and those are all obviously just analogies, but oh, if it's coming from everyone, everyone in your world, in your life. Yeah, it could be, I'd have to tap into that a little bit more, Darren. There are many different reasons for that, but it could be an indicator for you to maybe shift away from those that are not being truthful with you right now, you know. No, you're not stupid. And yeah, you have every right to be mad, for sure. I'm not going to tell you not to be mad. That pisses me off too, more than anything. I think I've just had I've had enough runs with that I finally see it for what it is, and I always let people go on their path and their journey to discover themselves. Self-compassion. Dodge them and focus on you. Yep, I agree with Patsy. So, this is an interesting message. Overall, we're talking about experiences that are otherworldly and out-of-body experiences. Has anybody here had an out-of-body experience? Hello? Because they are becoming more common, I'm finding. They are more common. They're common with children because children are much more open channels, you know? But I'm taking this card to mean that even if you're not having an out-of-body experience, these are otherworldly experiences or experiences that take us out of our body. Meaning there are times where we don't even realize it, but we are not in our body. We're up here, we're all around here, and it's almost like a state of hypnosis. Not almost, it is a collective hypnosis that keeps us in that stagnant energy, that circle, that wheel, that loop. And that's really how I'm reading this here. So then we have time lapse, which actually is the opposite of what I was talking about, time speeding up. There was, prior to time speeding up, earlier on, what I was experiencing, and many others were too, is that time was slowing down. It was like, and we were slowing down, right? We were slowing down, we were tired, everything seemed to be in slow motion. And that was a time where we really could get a good look at our ancestral patterns, which we still are. Many people who are still going through the first wave, the first pass of awakening to the truth, with this light, especially with the light coming in from the sun. So it's elevating the entire frequency on the planet. So we're all shifting in energetic frequency. And light is truth. Light exposes truth. Darkness hides the truth. That's the difference between light and dark. So a lot of truth is being exposed right now, including karma, ancestral patterns. And it will feel like when you kind of get spit out of that, because it is kind of like a cycle. If I'm remembering, it's a very warped, time warp type of cycle that you have with other people involved. It's sometimes family members or friends, and you can't make heads or tails of it, of what's going on, but you can sense that people are they're hiding their truth. They're not being real. They're not being authentic, and may just be flat out lying. You can't hide from it. It's like everything is exposed in plain sight, and I don't know if they are aware that they are exposed. I think that that's what I'm getting here, is that those who are that know they're hiding behind an ego, they're hiding behind a facade, they're hiding behind a status, they're hiding behind a story, they're hiding behind excuses. They know that they're hiding behind these things. I feel like they now know with the new energy that they're pretty transparent, like that you can see through that, you know? Ouch. Oh, my toe. Okay, we're back to out of bodies. Darren's had them with plant medicines. You know this too. Again, let's not be kidding ourselves. When I sleep, I'm not here. Right. Days are short in winter, short and quick. Yep. I drew a picture of it. A galaxy far away somewhere with a constant good surf and a green cave. I worked in solitude and had plenty of time for waves. You know, oh, we should talk about that too. Atlantis is coming up. Big time. I don't know all the details. I wish I knew more about it. I get these things in bits and pieces and pictures, but there is an asteroid, Atlantis, that is very active right now as well. So you just reminded me of that, Martin. The ancestral part is crucial to tackle, absolutely. Someone asked me, what's my dream job? Well, in my dreams, I don't work at. That's a good one. That's a very good one. All right. That's a really good one. I always tell people when they say, I don't know what to do, I don't know what my purpose is, I say, you know what? Say money and responsibilities were not a thing. What would you do? What would you do with your time in life? What would fulfill you? What gives you joy? Find that. And that, my friend, will take you somewhere. Rescue animals, yes. I think you would be so good at it too. And what keeps us from doing the things that we would truly love to do? The difference between fate and karma. There's certainly, we can have the excuses of what man-made matrix would have us say, but if you understood the tapping into the collective stream of conscious, co-creating with the universe, we don't have to think about the how. We don't have to have this whole business plan. That's what screwed me up in the beginning. It's like, you gotta have a business plan and this model, and you gotta know this and that. I'm like, well, forget it. I don't want to do any of that then. Forget it. You just took the fun out of it. Took the wind out of my sails. Be a child and build sandcastles all day in the sun and go swimming. Aww.
Yeah, you guys are all here. I've had more karma than any living person should have to encounter. Try to express myself in the collective eats me alive. Friends or enemies? If they are friends, who needs enemies? You are pretty. Thank you, Casey.
Yes, Darren. Oh, hugs. No. No enemies. No enemies. You have friends here. No one's judging you. Not at all. And I understand. It is not this life. Life is strange. Life is very strange, and I know that the more we have expectations of how things should be or how people should be, the more we're setting ourselves up for disappointment. And I know that's not helpful right now, but I think down the road you may understand that better, that there are times where life is really going to push us into a corner to spend more time in solitude, alone, to do some of those, to become our own best friend, basically, is, I've had to do it for years. And it's only in the last few years that I've branched out and started reconnecting with old friends and making new friends. But yeah, there was a time where nobody understood me, and it was like I was a foreigner in my own world. And I think that is definitely a part of the journey that we all go through, and I take it so personally, but it really is, you gotta go with how you feel, for sure. Wait, what are we all talking about now? Oh, birthdays for happy birthday, all of the Aquariuses. There's a money. Look, you guys are all here. Happy birthday. Yes. Happy birthday, Aquariuses. Yes. Thank you, Patsy. You have you. And I know when you're feeling really angry and disappointed in people, it's hard to see it in the way that we're trying to describe, but it really will, it'll push through to the other side. Because it's important that we actually form not only a relationship with ourselves, but with the universe, with the stream of what we're co-creating with. That is really an important key factor. Chiron, the key. Chiron's glyph looks like a key. And Chiron is pretty much, it's at a, for all intents and purposes, it is conjunct the North Node now. And it's really bringing out all of our wounds and insecurities and doubts and crappy feelings that we've even been carrying in our blind spots that we might not have even known. And most of the time, for us to find and reunite with those feelings, those parts of ourselves, it requires other people to trigger them in us. And in order for us to start the healing process.
Just want to be lit up again. I'm an Easter bunny. Patsy has a Mars in Aquarius. My Mars is an Aries, soul dispositor. You know, some people can't look me in the eye now because they know what they did. Am I supposed to forgive this?
When you're ready, Darren, I don't encourage premature forgiveness because that's fake. If you're not ready to forgive, that's okay. The forgiveness is for you. It is not for the others. It is for you so that you don't carry that energy with you as a heaviness, a heavy load. But it will organically happen. It is a process of healing, and you're in that spot where it's hard. It's hard. It's does not feel good at all, and it is takes you into the dark night of the soul. We go there a lot. We go there more than once, that's for sure. But when you get to the other side of that, you got to go into the pain. You got to go through it. Most people don't want to feel all those feelings. But trust me when I say there is a bottom that opens up. It's not going to swallow you up whole and keep you there forever. Unless you don't go there, then you're just carrying that pain and that resentment and anger with you. And that's keeping you from living your life and co-creating with the universe and being happy. And the cards are pretty much saying the same thing, is connecting the sun, connecting to the sun. Okay. A lot of energy coming through all of a sudden. Whew. Okay. The sun, what some would call God, life force energy, vitality, happiness, love, joy, prosperity. We need to connect to it and have an understanding of the flow, the in and the out, the give and the take, the balance. It's a co-creation. And a lot of times it does require us to go deep within. It requires us to be in solitude or not be distracted by other people so that we can actually form a much deeper, loving relationship with ourselves, which is connected to the sun, connected to the universe, connected to God's source energy. Because deep down inside, we already know, High Priestess, what our darkness is. What has been keeping us tied up, bound. Our thoughts, our beliefs about ourselves. Schumann resonance is spiking again. Boy, there's a lot of energy going on here, guys. I'm not sure if I could see all this. I wouldn't look to people to tell the truth right now. Patsy, you are a Leo moon too, yes. My glasses. At least I think I was given an appropriate name. Oh, that was weird. Are you guys there? Give me a thumbs up. Something just happened. And I don't know. Okay. My guy has friend zoned me after relationship. I'm not talking to him now. I'm Aries and he's Taurus. Or there'll be a reconciliation.
So this is the time, energetically. This is like, okay, now I'm really getting blasted with energy here. Energetically, Pluto, the underworld, the dark, the transformer. Pluto will change your life. And, okay, thank you, Patsy. Venus being our personal planet of our relationships, our personal planet of love, of our core values, of what is important to us, is being transformed, is going through a transformation. Before we can transform whatever patterns, whatever ancestral patterns that we've carried with us, that we were born into when it comes to understanding the dynamic of human to human or relationship to relationship, we must dive into our relationship with ourselves and our relationship with the Creator, with Source, with God. That is a given. So when people ask me, like, when is this going to stop, or when is this going to change? It will change when you change. Be the change. We have to make the internal adjustments. And not a lot of people like to hear that, but that is the truth of life. That is the cycles of life. And I'm saying this with love. The cards are saying this as well. The world at the bottom of the deck. Overall energy. There's an opportunity to complete a very long, hard karmic cycle for each and every one of us. There's that wheel. There's that wheel that I was talking about with stagnant energy. If you stay on that wheel for too long, suddenly what once was enjoyable, happy, I used to love this, suddenly is like dissatisfying or very frustrating, or just there's an aggression. And then we also have Mars going through Pluto. Aggression, violence, anger. A lot of anger is coming up. And I know this because I get comments this week. The comments I get from readings, people are taking things very personally. And no, I do not do personal readings in my collective readings. When I read cards, the energy channels through me. It is not me. It is how I read energy. And when I do collective readings, they are meant to reach whomever they reach. And if they trigger you, good. You get to a state in life where you actually appreciate getting triggered by a person, an event, a reading, because that's showing you what's still a wound, what's still active in your vibration, in your energy. That is a part of why you are creating or experiencing what you're experiencing. But no, it's interesting because a lot of people really pointed me out, like, you're reading this for me, like yelling at me. And I'm like, wow, there's a lot of Mars aggression coming through. People are triggered. And I know as a reader and as a healer, that it is a good thing to trigger. I used to not want to even open up the channel for all the messages to come through, because I was always like, I want everybody to like me. I don't take it personally anymore. I really don't take it personally. And I hope that if you take things personally, it is meant to. If it resonates, even if it doesn't feel good, if it resonates, it's meant for you to ponder and dive in there, That is where you find your growth. Yeah. Let's see. You'll find a little more ease. Yes, Darren. Venus conjunct Pluto. Yeah, Venus. I feel like now that Venus is out, where are you, Darren? I'm a little bit more calm now. All the same, once we can talk about it. Yeah, good. I'm glad you're calm. Oh, I lost what I was just gonna say. Vibration is everything. Yes, thank you, Scott. Um, it'll come back if it's meant to. But it has been, oh yes, Venus, thank you. When Venus is in Capricorn, she was still in Capricorn this morning. She just moved into Aquarius, so that's fresh new energy. But when Venus is in Capricorn and Mars was crossing over Pluto in Aquarius, not only did I feel from the collective the aggression, the anger, the rage, I mean, I was like, what's going to happen in the world? I'm going to stay home all day, all week long. It's bringing up all the stuff. And for people who aren't aware, like not everybody follows astrology. Not everybody is fully understanding the cycles of life and the mirroring and how we actually project and reflect from each other and our energy exchanges that we have with each other. Most people, I mean, I don't like to categorize, but there's a larger part of the population that has no idea about that. So everybody's taking things very personally and lashing out at each other, pointing the finger and blaming, and that energy is just spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. When Venus was in Capricorn, that's what I saw. It was bringing stuff up left and right, dissecting. I was witnessing women that like cat fights and all kinds of stuff. I was shocked by some of the things that I've witnessed in the last couple of weeks. I sense a more calmness coming through, but I don't know. This is all, we're being shaken up like a snow globe, or what was that analogy? Like a bunch of bees. You think of the hive mind. Right now it's like somebody took the hive and shook the bees and they're all like angry and confused and disoriented and pissed. And it's like the universe is doing this. And then it's going to like place it back in a new place, a new tree, a better tree. I guess that would be the best way to say it. But without going too far into the astrology, we still have Chiron conjunct the North Node, which is exposing our insecurities, our deepest wounds, our fears. And that certainly doesn't feel good for most people. And we have all this energy, the Mars and Venus, and they're coming into a conjunction then. The masculine and feminine are actually going to meet each other back up again. I feel like that is going to be more of an even flow, and not just to say between men and women, but within ourselves, energetically. Masculine and feminine energy internally is going to become more balanced. But then we have this eclipse. So all this energy is culminating and working on us. It's like kneading dough, and it's bringing all this stuff to the surface because we had this eclipse April 8th, I think. And eclipses are always big, like big change. This is a big window of change, collective change. Let's see here. You felt rage in your chest, says Patsy. I've stopped blaming, but I think very simply, if you're going to do that to me, be prepared for repercussions because I remember everything. I'm cooler now. Scott says, there's plenty to be pissed about, but I choose to focus on things that serve my well-being. Good. Oh, and then Eris, the goddess of discord. That's right. Is she in Aries too? Boundaries. Boundaries. Yeah, Darren, it is important to have boundaries, energetic boundaries too.
I do know a few others. And right now, I kind of just intuitively go with the flow when it comes to giving. I don't like to give unsolicited advice, but I know that there are a few people that have finally walked away from their conflicts with another, yet they still are carrying that energy. And when you carry that energy, that is still in the field, the psychic field. That's where psychic attacks come through, and you can have like repetitive nasty thoughts. And it is important to take time in nature as best as you can, as much as you can. Yeah, boundaries are important when you're not able to be harmonious and there's no alignment there. It's important. Well, it's up to you. It's up to each and every one of us to set our boundaries and mean them. Yeah, it is hard. It's very hard. I know. And I know a lot of people are dealing with family in this way, in this instance. There are times where we do have to kind of cut ties. And it doesn't mean that we have to cut ties forever, but there are I had to walk away from everybody and everything for a few years. Just so I needed to have that time alone. And of course, I was having all kinds of other psychic experiences going on, which were intensified. And that also brought me into my cave, my hermit. But it changed me. It helped me a lot. Be kind, but don't be too nice. Well, yeah, and that's those enforce the boundaries. Yes. Family will hurt the most for sure. Yes, be your number one. Thank you, Patsy. Back to being your own best friend, your own everything, because you're not alone there. There are a whole team with you that really wants you to get to know them and they to get to know you. And however you do or don't is, each and everybody's path is unique to them. But it is important that we become our own best friend. And it's hard. The ego wants to say, I love myself. But the more and more I've learned about this journey, especially the pains that come, especially through certain transits and experiences with other people, the more I found areas that I wasn't loving myself at all. Actually, quite the opposite. I was my own worst enemy in many different ways. And that's why you really have to get to know yourself in and out. That is golden in this life, is to know thyself, because we are the co-creator. Back to the important part of this entire message was how we run energy through our body. Are we circulating the energy and giving time for integration? Are we circulating and making changes and setting boundaries and pivoting and or are we staying in the same circle, the same cycle, and having more and more frustrations, and the energy becomes concentrated and stagnated, and it don't feel good. Things don't work out well. And if it is narcissistic abuse, it is time to step away. I hate to say that, but it is time to step away and do not play in those games, because those games, they're trying to reel you in. I did a whole video on narcissists. It's on if you go to my channel, it's probably back from last spring or summer. But it goes in depth on what I've learned about narcissists. Pretty, I have a whole lifetime of experience with that.
The Taurus field, yes. Yes. I was trying to draw that, the toroidal Taurus field, but yeah. No, I'm sorry, Darren, that you're going through that. Yeah, it's definitely easy for people to overstep. I'm sorry that you're going through that. I think that we all, anybody who is energetically sensitive has the ability to, the other thing, many of us actually feel sorry for them. I still do, even though I have been heavily abused by people with narcissism. And I've learned a lot about it, but definitely prayers for you, Darren. You are not alone. Tables will turn, but trust me when I say do not play in their games, because they're just trying to, just like with anything else in this world, you can't fight evil. You can't fight wrongdoings. When you have the energy of fight, you're feeding that energy. Another reason why we have to go within, we have to become our own best friend. Because if we can't even love ourselves, which in one standpoint, narcissists are mirroring to us in a very nasty, nasty way some of our core wounds, or maybe how we internally speak to ourselves, but in a very degrading way. But when you play their games, or even engage, let's just say engage. I call them games. They're like mind games. But even engage at all, you're just feeding that energy. And it is important that you cut ties with that and take time to yourself. That's all I can say. It's really, withdraw your energy. Uh-huh. Yep. And that's okay. They'll come back. If people are meant to come back into your life, they will. They truly will. So, Moonology. You want me to pull from Moonology? Let's pull one from Moonology so we can get some advice for us all. Because we could go on and on all night about narcissists. And I think that is a big theme right now that's coming up, because a lot of people are recognizing. I've had some clients that I've worked with that just recently started recognizing in the last 2 years that they were married to narcissists. We don't know it all the time. But then when you do know it, it empowers you, but it also is like a shock. Like, oh my God. Let's get us all some advice for this evening. Well, the moon is in Gemini, and that just popped into my head as I was shuffling, and we've got communication is key. New moon in Gemini. Do we have anything else also? The pathology that plagues us, right? Okay. Hard work is paying off. Thank you. Communication is key. Your hard work is paying off. Confidence is your key to success. And I see this in that Chiron energy all over again, solar plexus energy
self-confidence, self-awareness first, but self-confidence. A lot of our insecurities, again, are coming to the surface. That's your rising. All right. Bear with me while I find this in this book. These are hard to find. New moon in Gemini. And the moon is in Gemini currently. And it's actually peeking through my skylight right now. My sun is a double Gemini. His sun and rising is Gemini. This card heralds a start of a new cycle for you. When you're going to look and feel more gorgeous, more in the spotlight, more like you have something worth showing off. If you want someone's attention, this card says, it's coming. However, this may not happen all by itself. You have to be willing to do your bit. That means being proud of who you are and what you have to offer. Think of yourself as the king or queen of the jungle and carry yourself accordingly. This card is also a great omen if you're asking about a creative project you're working on. Alternatively, it can herald good news or a new start for you or your children. Additional meanings for this card: it's time for you to show the world what you've got. Shine your light. Have some pride. Spoil yourself. You've earned it. I'm feeling like I'm reading the wrong card. That's communication is key. Confidence is your key to success. I was wondering, that's the Leo energy. That was the last card. Sorry, but yes, that is one of the cards. Interesting. I read the last card. But yes. So that's for some of you out there. Now let's get to the next one. So we pulled 3. No mistakes. No, I know. My eyes went right to it. All right. Now we have communication is key. A successful relationship usually comes down to one thing: communication. And the new moon in Gemini card is all about the start of a new cycle for communicating with the person at the center of your question. Talking things through is the answer to whatever it is that you're asking about. If you can't talk to that person, you can journal about it to yourself. Emails, text messages, and other forms of communication will also help you now. If the issue you're asking about concerns a sibling or neighbor, there's a new start coming. A time to wipe the slate clean and start over. This card could also suggest that you've been too frivolous lately and need to get grounded again. But most importantly, drawing this card emphasizes the need to communicate. And I'm also feeling like communication is definitely, it doesn't have to be to another person. But if we have things that we want to express, if we've been shut down, shut off, not able to express our truth, journal it. Or as you're doing here, sometimes we're like, blah, like get it out, because otherwise it stays internally and it festers and it causes the anger to increase and there's pressure. So whatever you can do to express what you need to say. And if you have somebody that is receptive to communicating, then certainly communicate to them. Express to the ethers too. Exactly. Yes. And listening is definitely a big part of communication as well. Yes. Last but not least, we have your hard work. Oh, your hard work is paying off. Well, we all like to hear that one, right? New moon in Capricorn. Yes, vocalize our deep feel. Okay, I'm back. Are you guys still there?
I think it's about time to, okay, can you hear me? I've never seen that before. It just came up, this cloud is like, disconnected. Refreshed. Okay, thank you. Here I am. A lot of energy going on right now. A lot of energy swirling around us. My candle is even doing some interesting things. It's going around in a circle. All right, I'm going to read the last one, and then we're going to call it quits. Okay. Your hard work is paying off. First and foremost, this card suggests a new start for you, profoundly. Whatever has been going on in your working life, this card heralds the start of a new and improved work cycle. If you're unhappy in your current job, this is the time to either renegotiate your position or look for something new. Whatever your question, whether work-related or otherwise, a new plan and strategy is called for. You need to take a look at the long term and think about where you want to be in 12 months or even 5 years' time. That will inform your best course of action now, so think seriously about it. Drawing this card suggests it's a time for you to be ambitious about whatever it is that you want to achieve. And whatever was coming through to me right now just was saying, start circulating your energy in a new way. However it is, if it's something little, a new pattern, address your patterns, change something up. But if there's something big, if something's not working for you and there's something big, your job or whatever, it's time to address it. It's time to address it and make the necessary changes for yourself, because life is short. I mean, we don't know how much time we have left on here on the planet. And I don't know about you guys, but I, for one, don't plan on wasting any more of my precious life and time, because time is precious, on this planet. And make every day count. Make every moment of every day count. So that is what I have. That's what I have for us all. Thank you guys. Thank you all for showing up and sharing. I love having these interactive moments with all of you. And yeah, everybody, take it easy on yourself. Be good to yourself. Love yourself. And know that you are loved. You are loved, loved, loved. Thank you. Thank you guys. Mwah. Have a great night or day or wherever it is that you are. Thank you, Darren, for sharing. You're loved. Take care. Bye, everybody. Love you.